The Wild West remains an iconic chapter in American history, where the law was often defined by whoever held the fastest gun and the sharpest wit. It was a time of uncertainty, rebellion, and survival. The line between hero and villain was blurred as gunslingers roamed the frontier, carving their names into legend with bullets and blood. Here, we take a closer look at 10 of the deadliest gunslingers of the Old West, exploring their lives, battles, and lasting legacies. 10. King Fischer, a rebel with a quick draw. John King Fischer, born in 1853 near Dallas, Texas, grew up in a world where violence was often the answer to disputes. By the time he was 18, Fischer had already earned his first criminal charge for horse theft. Despite spending 2 years in prison, his return to society was marked by his transformation into a formidable cowboy and gunslinger. Fischer's life epitomized the turbulent nature of the Texas borderlands, where ranchers often defended their families and properties from raiding bandits. Fischer was no different, gaining a reputation for his sharp reflexes and skill with firearms. One of his most famous incidents occurred in 1878, when a confrontation with 4 Mexican cowboys turned deadly. In an explosive sequence of events, Fischer clubbed one man with a branding iron before shooting the remaining 3, 2 of whom were unarmed. Despite his talent, Fischer's temper and propensity for violence eventually led to his demise in 1884. During a gunfight in San Antonio, Fischer and his friend Ben Thompson were killed in a chaotic exchange of bullets. Fischer's legacy as a quick-draw artist lives on, with reports suggesting he killed up to 37 men in his short lifetime. 9. Bass Reeves, the lawman who defied the odds. Bass Reeves, born into slavery in Arkansas in 1848, overcame incredible adversity to become one of the first African-American U.S. Marshals. His transformation from enslaved boy to legendary lawman is nothing short of inspiring. After escaping slavery during the Civil War, Reeves sought refuge among Native American tribes in the Indian Territory, where he learned survival skills and became proficient with firearms. Reeves was appointed a U.S. Marshal in 1875 and patrolled one of the most dangerous areas of the frontier, the Indian Territory. His innovative tactics, such as disguises to infiltrate criminal hideouts, earned him a fearsome reputation. Reeves captured over 3,000 criminals during his career, including his own son, who had been charged with murder, a testament to Reeves' unshakable commitment to justice. Reeves's accomplishments have sparked widespread admiration, with many believing he inspired the fictional Lone Ranger. His career as a lawman redefined what was possible in a racially divided America and cemented his place as one of the most remarkable figures of the Old West. 8. Jesse James, the Robin Hood of the Wild West. Jesse James, born in 1847 in Missouri, grew up in a family with Confederate leanings. This allegiance shaped his early life, as he joined a pro-Confederate guerrilla group during the Civil War. Jesse's participation in the brutal Centralia Massacre in 1864, where Union soldiers were slaughtered, showcased the ruthless streak that would later define his criminal career. After the war, Jesse and his brother Frank turned to a life of crime, forming the infamous James Younger Gang. Their daring bank and train robberies were legendary, with Jesse often portrayed as a folk hero who stole from the rich to give to the poor. However, his acts of violence told a different story, as he was responsible for at least 17 deaths. Jesse's life came to an ironic end in 1882 when he was betrayed by Robert Ford, a gang member, who shot him in the back of the head while Jesse was adjusting a picture on the wall. His death was a dramatic close to a life filled with daring escapades and cold-blooded killings. 7. Tom Horn, the shadowy enforcer. Tom Horn, born in 1860, straddled the line between lawman and outlaw. He gained early fame during the Lincoln County War in New Mexico, where he worked as a hired gun for cattle baron John Chisholm. Horn's skill as a marksman and his fearless demeanor earned him a reputation as a deadly enforcer. Horn later joined the Pinkerton Detective Agency, where his work blurred the ethical boundaries of justice. He was accused of eliminating cattle rustlers through questionable means, and his reputation as a ruthless gunman grew. Horne's most infamous case was the murder of 14-year-old Willie Nickel in 1901. While Horne was convicted and hanged for the crime, many believe he was framed, citing a lack of evidence and the influence of powerful cattle interests. Horne's life is a study in moral ambiguity, a man who was both revered and reviled, remembered as much for his alleged crimes as for his undeniable skill with a gun. 6. James "Killin' Jim" Miller, the black-hatted villain. James Miller, known as Killin' Jim, exemplified the dark side of the Old West. Born in Arkansas in 1861, Miller's violent tendencies surfaced early. At age 19, he killed his brother-in-law over an argument and escaped justice on a legal technicality. From that point on, Miller's life was defined by bloodshed. Miller became a notorious contract killer, working as a hired gun for those willing to pay. His cold-blooded efficiency made him both feared and hated. In 1909, Miller was arrested for a botched assassination, and a lynch mob decided to take justice into their own hands. As he faced the gallows, Miller famously shouted, "Let her rip," before leaping to his death. His calculated brutality left a chilling legacy that endures to this day. 5. Wyatt Earp, the reluctant hero. Wyatt Earp is one of the most celebrated names in Old West history. Born in 1848, Earp became a lawman known for his involvement in the infamous gunfight at the OK Corral in 1881. Alongside his brothers and Doc Holliday, Wyatt faced off against the outlaw Cochise County Cowboys in a shootout that left 3 men dead. While Earp is often romanticized as the hero of the OK Corral, his life was more complex. He killed between 8 and 30 men during his law enforcement career and was also involved in several controversial incidents, including allegations of corruption. Earp lived to the age of 80, dying in 1929. His long life and connections to Hollywood helped immortalize his story in American culture. 4. Wild Bill Hickok, the ace of the frontier. James Butler Hickok, better known as Wild Bill, was a larger-than-life figure whose exploits are legendary. Born in 1837, Hickok started his career as a Union scout during the Civil War before becoming a lawman in Kansas and Nebraska. Known for his cool demeanor and incredible accuracy, Hickok was credited with over 100 kills. Hickok's most famous gunfight was with Davis Tutt in 1865, where he shot Tutt dead at 75 yards, a feat of marksmanship that added to his legend. However, Hickok's life was cut short in 1876 when he was shot in the back by Jack McCall during a poker game. The hand Hickok was holding, aces and eights, became immortalized as the dead man's hand. 3. Billy the Kid, the charming killer. Billy the Kid, born William H. Bonney in 1859, remains one of the most enigmatic figures of the Old West. Despite his youthful appearance and charm, Billy's life was marked by violence. He gained notoriety during the Lincoln County Cattle War, where he killed multiple men. Billy's death in 1881, at the hands of Sheriff Pat Garrett, cemented his status as a legend. Stories persist that Billy survived and lived under an alias, adding to his mystique. Whether outlaw or folk hero, Billy the Kid's story continues to captivate. Sec. John Wesley Harden, the deadliest of them all. John Wesley Harden, born in 1853, was arguably the most dangerous gunslinger of his time. Harden killed his first man at age 15 and went on to claim at least 21 lives during his career. His victims included lawmen, Union soldiers, and civilians, often killed in disputes fueled by Harden's volatile temper. After serving 16 years in prison, Harden attempted to reform, but was killed in 1895 by a rival. His reputation as one of the most prolific killers of the Old West remains unmatched. 1. Annie Oakley, the sharpshooting star. Unlike others on this list, Annie Oakley wasn't a killer, but was the finest sharpshooter of the Old West. Born in 1860, she used her skills to support her family by hunting game, and later joined Buffalo Bill's Wild West show. Her precision and speed were unmatched, earning her international fame. Annie's talents extended beyond the stage. She once offered to lead a group of women sharpshooters during the Spanish-American War. Her story is a reminder that not all gunslingers relied on violence to leave their mark. The 10 gunslingers on this list lived during one of the most volatile eras in American history. Their lives were defined by violence, survival, and the pursuit of their own form of justice. Whether as lawmen, outlaws, or sharpshooters, these figures continue to capture the imagination, embodying the enduring allure and danger of the Wild West.